Top 5 Best Gaming Controllers in 2021. Video games have reached their 9th generation, and with them, we are seeing the 9th generation of gaming controllers. Whether you're gaming on a console or a PC, a good controller can enhance your abilities and completely change up your whole gaming experience. So in this video, we will be going through some of the best gaming controllers released recently that you can buy and use on your PC right now. The links to all the products mentioned in the video will be in the description, so you can check out the most updated prices right away. With that said, here are the top 5 best gaming controllers in 2021. Number 5. Xbox Series X Controller. To start off our list, we'll go with the controller that Microsoft wants you to use on their PCs, or anything really. The Xbox Core controller is a fine controller on its own. It's directly competing with the Sony DualSense controller, and while that may seem more impressive, this one might just be more optimized for a PC experience. The Xbox Series X controller is not very different in design from its predecessor, as Microsoft took the approach of don't fix what isn't broken with this controller, and we believe they made the right choice in this regard, as the design still holds up after all these years. There are still a lot of changes that you can't really see at first, such as the new share button in the middle of the controller, with Xbox taking cues from the PS4 and 5 in this regard. While the buttons may look the same, they feel a lot different than on the controller's predecessor. The press is much more responsive, the D-pad is slightly redesigned, and overall the controller feels great. Connecting your controller with your PC may take just a few seconds, as the controller is highly optimized for Windows. The controller is firmly in the mid-range, so you don't have to burn a hole through your wallet to get one. It's the perfect controller for someone to just pick up and play without taking much else into consideration. Number 4. Razer Wolverine V2. Now for one of the most high-performance controllers on our list. The Razer Wolverine V2 controller is one of the best high-end controllers you could pick up right now. Razer has always been known for making the best third-party Xbox/PC controllers in the world, and this is their take on the perfect controller made with the Xbox Series X in mind. It's one of the 2 wired controllers on our list, which still have many benefits over the wireless controllers that may be the standard today. Let's take a look at some of the characteristics of this controller. The first thing you'll notice is its sleek design that's just different enough from the regular Xbox controller to actually stand out as its own device, while also maintaining that Xbox controller look and feel that we've all come to love. The controller is quite a bit larger than the regular one, which depending on your taste may be a good thing. But it definitely feels very comfortable to hold, as despite its size, it's actually slightly lighter than the Series X controller. The wider body is meant to decrease the strain on long periods of gaming on your shoulder and back, and they won't be squeezed in as much to hold the controller. There are 2 extra function buttons at the top of the controller, but we must say they can be quite awkward to reach out to. Speaking of the buttons, they feel amazing to press and are truly something you need to experience yourself, especially if you aren't happy with the way the Series X controller feels. Overall, Razer has built a solid controller that improved upon many things we already love about the Series X controller. You can use it on your Xbox, your PC, and a variety of other devices as well. It is one of the more expensive controllers on our list, so make sure you do your research before buying it. Number 3. PowerA Enhanced Wired Controller. Another wired controller. While wireless controllers may be the standard for 2021, wired controllers still have their own benefits. Wired controllers have next to no input lag, they generally last longer, don't get lost as easily, and they are much cheaper than wireless controllers. The PowerA Enhanced Wired Controller is our top pick for the best budget controller in 2021. It's based on the Xbox Series X controller, but is generally about half the price. So let's go through some of the features of this controller and why it's one of the best controllers you can buy today. You shouldn't expect any fancy features from this controller. The purpose of it is to do everything a controller can normally do, and it does that perfectly. The shape, which is based on the standard Xbox controller, is quite comfortable and doesn't feel like some sort of cheap knockoff. It connects with your PC or console through a removable micro USB cable. The controller is a lot lighter than it appears to be, weighing only about 200 grams, much lighter than the standard Xbox controller. This doesn't just make it a copy-paste of the standard Xbox controller though. The PowerA enhanced wired controller also comes with its own extra features, such as extra rear buttons at the back which can be programmed to do whatever you like. The rear buttons are actually placed better than some of the more expensive controllers we've seen and can be quite intuitive. The controller also comes in many different colors, making it the ideal controller you might want to get for a kid. There's also a headphone jack and a dial that allows you to turn the volume of your headphones and your microphone up and down. As far as budget-friendly controllers go, there isn't a better option than the PowerA enhanced wired controller. It's perfectly suitable for both adults and kids, and you can get this controller for yourself if you're on a tight budget, or as a perfect gift for your kids or little siblings if they need one. Number 2. Sony DualSense controller. This is one of the controllers you were probably expecting on our list. While the Sony DualSense controller may not have been made with PCs in mind, being the standard controller that comes with the PS5, it's still one of the best controllers out there, and it's perfect for someone who's switching over from PlayStation to PC gaming as well. Sony really went above and beyond when it comes to designing the DualSense controller. The look, for the first time, is vastly different from its predecessor. Technically, with this controller, Sony has started a new line of controllers to succeed the much-loved DualShock controllers. The DualSense is better than the DualShock 4 in almost every way. The way the buttons press, the slight placement of the buttons, the response time, the shape and feel of the controller, the touchpad even, which was one of my favorite features of the DualShock 4, makes a comeback in this controller, but this time it's fully white and is next to an RGB light. There's also a built-in speaker like its predecessor featured. The triggers of the PS5 controllers fixed the horrible, wobbly mess that was the DualShock 4 triggers. Now the triggers feel much smoother, sturdy, and have a longer and deeper pull. The DualSense 4 controller is available to purchase right now, but it may be short in supply due to the insane demand for the PS5. It's a much cheaper alternative to the other high-end controllers on our list, but will lack some of the extra features they give you. And number 1, Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. With all the third parties coming out with their own high-end versions of the Xbox controller, Microsoft decided to cash in on their success and came out with their own high-end version of the Xbox controller. And as pioneers in the controller industry, they managed to do it better than anyone. The Xbox Elite Wireless Series 2 controller is far more expensive than any of the controllers we've featured thus far. It's meant to be a controller for only the most hardcore of gamers, but we believe it's the best controller on the market right now. Going through its design and features, the Xbox Elite Wireless Series 2 controller has a stunning, sleek design overall that doesn't go too far to try to look more hardcore, while still adding more than enough changes to make you consider switching from your standard Xbox or DualSense controller you may be using on your PC right now. While it's wireless, it can also be connected through its USB-C port. The controller comes with its own charging pad for easy wireless charging whenever you don't feel like plugging it in. The grips of the controller are very different from the standard controller and are much more comfortable to hold for longer durations and extended gameplay. At the back, there are a few extra buttons that can be programmed to do practically anything you want, and there are also rear paddles and a profile switch button. The controller is highly customizable, as you would expect with such a high-end controller, with extra buttons being included in the box itself. The buttons are by far the most comfortable we've ever pressed, and the design is also rather hard to beat. The Xbox Elite Wireless Series 2 controller is the best high-end controller you could buy right now. The design is gorgeous and the features are endless. There is not a feature in this controller that says low quality. And if you're willing to dish out the hefty price tag of this controller, you should definitely buy this. And that's a wrap for the top 5 best gaming controllers in 2021. Do you prefer the new Xbox controller or the new PlayStation controller? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. See you next time.